following show was recorded in the studios of SLNC ABLS, unmasked in a soundproof booth that is socially distant and responsible. Its content is intended for people who are blind or print impaired. Be forewarned, listening and subscribing to this podcast just might make you a better user of the library reading technology and take your reading to another level of enjoyment. Hello and welcome to Craig's Desk, a program from the State Library of North Carolina Accessible Books and Library Services, SLNC ABLS. I'm your host, Craig Hayward, the Technology Librarian at SLNC ABLS. This show is all about sharing and learning about the library's reading technology, online resources, and some insider information and announcements from the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, known as NLS. On this show, we'll see what's on my desk, Craig's desk. We'll see what kinds of questions and feedback that are worthwhile to share. We'll throw in some NLS news and some resources you can find right now on our library's website, all in the name of helping you read more and learn more. Whether it's to hear a technology question answered, or some other bit of news and information about our library or NLS, or for whatever reason you're listening, I'm thankful you're here, as is our library. We all want to serve you and help you. I take notes and remember things. I also learn things daily from the interactions with patrons. You teach me every day. It's a gift I get to receive from you. Let me be your guide and help you navigate the changes in our service. I'll do my best to help you use the technology better and take your reading experience farther. If you don't already know where to email your questions, comments, and feedback, send it to abls.help@ncdcr.gov. That is, abls.help@ncdcr.gov. ABLS for Accessible Books and Library Services, the name of our library and what we provide as a library. Help, because that's the purpose of the email box. We want to help you. So abls.help@ncdcr.gov is the place to send in your technology questions or other feedback. Keep that around and use it when you need it. A final note before we start this program, sharing is caring. We'd like to get the word out and share the show so that we can help whoever wants help. If you have friends, family, or anyone else that want to listen to the show, tell them to search Apple Podcasts or Spotify for Craig's Desk, or go to the Craig's Desk podcast webpage on Podbean. That is https://nccrigsdesk.podbean.com. That would be nccrigsdesk.podbean.com. Enough talk. Let's get this episode of Craig's Desk started. Your technology questions. How do I add a Victor Reader so I can listen to Bard? Or adding a third-party purchase player to your Bard account? Recently, we've had some support calls asking about how to use a Victor Reader stream to listen to books on Bard. I mentioned this is really just how to add third-party purchase players to your Bard account. Third-party players like the Victor Reader stream work really well with Bard. They store your username and password, have good tools that make them easier than ever to use. The Victor Reader stream in particular has a nice setup now to make adding it as a reading device even easier. So how do you add a Victor Reader stream to use with your Bard account? It's a step-by-step process. The first thing you want to do is log into your Bard account. After you log in, you'll be on the Bard main page. Here's where you usually start your search for books and magazines, but it's also where you can update your account and add things like a third-party player. To add the player, go to the fifth main section on the page, the one called My Bard. From here, go to the fourth link down, the one that says Account Settings. Click on this link and you will be taken to your account settings page. Then go to the third link on this page that says Add a Purchase Player. You will be shown a form with your name and address information to verify your identity, and also so you can check to make sure your information is correct with NLS. Tab through the fields until you get to the bottom of the drop-down list labeled Please select the type of player you will be using. Here, choose the player by first letter of manufacturer from the list. In this case, we would press H for Humanware to get to that part of the list. Note there are two options from Humanware. The Victor Reader is choice 2. Once selected, click on the Next button to go to the next screen. The next screen is the Register New Player's second screen. Starting at the top, read the instructions for how to find your player's serial number. The serial number is required by the manufacturer for them to create something called a key to unlock the books and magazines downloaded so you can play them on this player. A hint, press the info or key 0. The serial number is announced at the end of the About Victor Reader message. Take this information and enter it in the form box labeled serial number or key code that follows these instructions. Once all are entered, go to the Submit Player Request button. This will send in your request to the library so we can make sure we have all information correct for your account. Then we will approve things, and this information will be sent to NLS for tracking of your new player and to the player's manufacturer, in this case, Humanware, to tell them we approve of the player and for them to make a key for you. One nice change to things with the addition of Wi-Fi connectivity on the Victor Reader stream is that now once you have received the confirmation email from Humanware that contains the NLS key for your stream, it will be downloaded and installed automatically the next time the stream is connected to a wireless network. It makes this process so much easier. I recommend you save that file somewhere secure or memorable so that if it's needed, for example, if the player has to be reset for repairs, it can be reinstalled so you can listen to your reading materials again. That's this episode's technology question. I hope I've answered it well and it helps you. If you have any other comments or other questions related to Bard Mobile, Bard itself, using our online catalog, or any other kind of reading tech, email them to abls.help@ncdcr.gov. That is abls.help@ncdcr.gov. One other quick note. A patron asked about getting podcasts on their home computer or laptop. They wanted to know about accessible podcatchers to help them get podcasts. This was covered on episode 22 in that section about accessible podcatchers. That's all we have for this show. Thanks again. NLS News. A couple of stories out of NLS On the Move newsletter. One of the first stories from the NLS On the Move newsletter recently involves the NLS Department of Veteran Affairs, or VA for short, Rapid Sign-Up Partnership. It helps expand our commitment to veterans in the program. To help veterans, NLS has partnered with the VA Blind Rehabilitation Services, or BRS, to instantly sign up veterans for service. The program started as a pilot in a handful of places to now being rolled out as more of a service, expanding across the program to having over 100 trained people who can certify across 38 states, plus Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. This means a more streamlined experience for veterans with the potential to use across the program. As of late March, over 360 veterans have been enrolled this way. Veterans enrolled this way still receive service from their local library to help build the relationship with local libraries and veterans in the program. Over the coming year, NLS is exploring more ways to roll this out to other groups of people. In the second story, the March-April 2023 issues of Talking Book Topics and Braille Book Review are the first with mostly publisher-provided book descriptions. If you've been on the online catalog or Bard searching for books since May 2022, these have already been used. But now this addition to these publications means more patrons who get their books in many other ways, besides Bard and downloading, are seeing this richer description in a publication. One advantage is this may make it easier for patrons to identify more titles of interest for their own reading. Be forewarned that many of these works don't offer information about strong language and such. On that front, many network libraries work with NLS as a network to provide a system of rating unrated books to benefit patron choice and help staff in book picks. It's not a perfect system, and some titles may be made available unrated until they get a rating in order to offer faster access to titles that patrons most want. As always, if you have comments about things like this, or you maybe want to know more about what NLS has in store and upcoming, you're welcome to email me at the email address abls.help@ncdcr.gov. Thanks so much again for listening. The library's online resources. The library's website's helpful information section. Helpful information from the library's website means you can help yourself and let staff work harder for other parts of your reading adventure. As its name suggests, the library's website's helpful information section is intended to provide you with all kinds of answers, particularly for frequently asked questions, the ones we get asked lots. Enough so that we can write out an answer to offer you it openly so that you can resolve many of your own issues without the need of staff. That's the point of providing this information. Topics represented in this section are all about digital talking books, Bard, the NLS digital player, about third-party players using the library's online catalog, and some things to get you started using digital Braille. Highlights we have included in the helpful information section are how to sign up for Bard, how to use Bard Mobile, how to search for books in the online catalog, how to use a Braille display with Bard, and more. Just check out the section. I would recommend that you take a look at the site when you have a question just to see if we've already answered it before you contact us. Take a look around and see what we have to offer first. Then if you can't find a good answer, contact us. If what you ask is often enough, we will add it to our helpful information section. To find the helpful information section, check out the library's homepage. From the top, move down the homepage until you come to the 7th section on the homepage. You can also find it at the top of each page inside the site navigation menu in the drop-down list. The third link down is called Helpful Information. That's where you'll find all this helpful information to help you find the answers to these questions easily. Thanks for asking. As always, if you have comments about things like this, or you maybe can't find something you are after on the website, you are welcome to email me at the email address abls.help@ncdcr.gov. Thanks for listening. Craig's Desk is a production of the State Library of North Carolina Accessible Books and Library Services, a section of the State Library of North Carolina, part of the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. This episode was produced on-site in the studios of SLNC ABLS. Many thanks to the other person helping on the other side of the glass to produce this show, Clint Exum, our outreach specialist and jack of all trades around our studios. As it has been from the beginning, this show is a production of EMC Squared Productions. Intro music is One Fine Day, and closing music is Step to the Beat, and are offered royalty-free from the website Keep Common Podcast. Segment transitions starring nature are from zapsplat.com. If you like what you have heard or are just curious about upcoming episodes, please subscribe to this podcast. There are links from our website for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our podcast platform called Podbean, and even an RSS feed to listen to it on your own Podcatcher app. Whenever we put up a new episode, you'll be the first to know. Thanks for listening. That's the end of this episode of Craig's Desk. If you have any questions about the library's technology, how to do something, or would like to give some feedback, send an email to abls.help@ncdcr.gov. That is abls.help@ncdcr.gov.